Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and welcome to Hannah's Happy Space. This is my little podcast on YouTube all about my crafting, knitting, crochet, sewing. Sometimes there might be something else, who knows. I try most things, see how I get on. Like I say, welcome. Thank you to those returning viewers, returning subscribers. Lovely to see you again. And welcome to any new viewers who may have stumbled upon the channel or been recommended by any other podcasters. Welcome. So, for those of you who don't know me, I will quickly introduce myself. Like I say, my name is Hannah. I live in a town right on the edge of Dartmoor in the southwest of England, down in Devon. I live with my older sister Cara and her son Sebi, my nephew, who is 9.5. Make sure I get that half in. Yeah, so that is me. Today is, I did check before because I never remember what the day is. It is, oh no, she says she's remembered, Saturday the 20th of May. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think so. That's terrible, isn't it? Oh yes, I checked. Not very good job. Yeah, so that is when we are. Let's do that. When I look this way, that's where my conservatory is. So if I'm looking outside and I'm going to do the very typical English podcast and tell you that what the weather is like. And it is a beautiful sunny day down here in Devon. We've been very lucky for the last couple of days. We have been out in the garden quite a lot. We've been out to couple of garden centres, so we've been doing a little bit of planting. We don't have a very big garden, and more than half of it is patio slabs. We've got a little tiny lawn where we have the washing line, the whirligig, and like I say, the rest is patio. So we've been buying lots of different colourful pots, and we've planted up lavender and sweet peas, salvia. Last night we went outside and Sebi's planted up some sunflowers and they're on the kitchen windowsill. I shall keep keeping my fingers crossed, because last year we planted them straight outside and we did lots and they were all eaten by the birds. I think we had 2 or 3 that actually made it to something of a plant. So fingers crossed they will become lovely sunflowers. Cara and Sebi have gone out today, so I'm taking advantage of the empty, quiet house to film today. Last time I spoke to you, I mentioned that Sebi was starting a new, I'm sure I did, told you that Sebi is starting a new mini tour in golf. He's had a couple of matches. He won one last weekend, definitely. He was very pleased with himself because the little mini tour that he does is, I don't know what the youngest is, but it goes up to 18, and he's obviously, like I say, 9.5, and he won his match last weekend, and the eldest was 16, and it was out of 28 children, so we're very pleased with him. He's doing very well with that. So let's talk about what you're here for, shall we? Well, let's talk about crafting. Mind blank. If you see me looking down, my notes are underneath the camera, and I'm going to really try and stop saying I'm really noticing that I'm saying it a lot. I think I might just even said it then. So let's get on with it, shall we? Let's finished objects. Shall we show you those? Okay, right. Where have I put them? I've made a bit of tidied a little bit of an area. You can see here, this is where I always sit to do my crafting on the sofa. This bit normally stays nice and tidy because it's where I sit. This side here, you can see I've just folded this blanket up a bit and tidier and put it up here. And all of the stuff that was piled up here, shawls and jumpers, anything else, has gone further that way, out of sight of the camera. And I have cleared a bit of a space on the seat next to me to put the things that I'm going to show you. So let's show you this one first. This has been on Instagram. If you follow me over there, I'll put all the details underneath where else you can find me. I've got, obviously here on YouTube, I've got an Instagram account and I've got a Ko-fi account. Right. Let me show you. I showed you this one last time. It was a work in progress. This is the Little Leftovers Cowl. Ooh, if I sit back, you can just about get the whole thing in. This is a pattern by Tellybean Knits. And I think it is designed obviously for leftovers, and it is designed for an advent calendar because there's 25 colours. So there, if you'd used an advent calendar, even if you used I don't know if a 10 gram would be enough. Let me just have a little look, because I did say all this last time. I worked out, because it gives you the meterage for all of each, gives you the meterage for each section. So I sort of worked out what that would be in grams. Oh, okay, yeah, so you would get it out of a 10 gram. The last section has 9 grams. Well, that's what I worked out. I have to be honest, I didn't weigh each bit as I went, which would have been sensible, but I don't think I'll be making another one. Not that I didn't enjoy it. Absolutely loved this this project. So much to keep you interested. Obviously, changing colours. Lots of changing in colours, which did mean lots of ends, but that doesn't bother me. And then if I come a bit closer, not too close, there are lots of different stitch patterns in here. So if I go through carefully, so you can see you've got each section actually is split up with, where am I here? This garter stitch, and then you get a different stitch pattern. So there's lace, different types of rib, different some stitches that I've never done before, different other lace patterns. I think there was moss stitch, or they're called moss stitch in this one, or seed stitch. All kinds of different patterns. And then this, try and show you, sort of twisted rib at the end. There's another one that I hadn't done before. Let me pop it on. It's been blocked. Obviously, it's not something I'm going to be wearing at the moment. But lots of colour. Just do that so you can see the colours. Really nice and warm, not too tight round. And then you get this extra, you know, it's not like a normal sort of snoody cowl that would stop here. You get this extra bit of colour down here as well. Really pleased with it. Really happy with how that's come out. And it's used up some scraps, which is always good. She does have lots of other patterns like these. I don't think I've paid full price for this pattern. Quite often when she brings out a new pattern, they're on like with a discount to start with. I've had a look through my Ravelry library, and I've got a couple of other cowls of hers that are this design, this shape, but with lots of different, you know, different stitch patterns, different colours and things. So I will definitely be doing more of those. There's a really nice one she's got, which has got colour work, little sheep on it. I have done colour work before. It's not one of the things I do a lot of, or I'm even that good at, but it might be something to aim for. So that is the Little Leftovers Cowl by Tellybean Knits. Okay, so that's that one. Just fold up with it. Smells really nice as well because I've used the wool wash on it. Blocked out. Okay, so that is that one. All right, what's next? Another knitting. The only other knitting that's finished. This is a big one. Not sure how I'm going to show it to you. This hasn't been blocked yet, unlike the other one I've just showed you. And I'm in two minds whether to block it or not. I'll see what you think. This is the Eyelet Burst Shawl by Stephen West, which I've shown you quite a few times now. There's no way I'm going to fit it all in, even moving. Oh, just about. Hold on, I'll just put it up over my face. So like I say, this hasn't been blocked, so it hasn't got the shape that it should have as opposed to the pattern, but it's massive. So blocking it obviously is going to make it bigger. Where's the end? Oh, I mean, I think I might have to, just because these bits are quite short for trying to wrap around. So when it comes to blocking, I don't think I'll block it as aggressively as it suggests to. On the blocking, Stephen, when he blocked his, so at the bottom, it's really hard to show because it's so big. At the bottom, where these eyelets are, 2 seconds. Let's try, try and get some sort of organisation here. Where the eyelets are, where they end, his are blocked out at quite a point. To sort of, you know, accentuate the ends. I don't think I'll be doing that, but I think a gentle block to try and stretch out the sides as much as possible so that I've got enough to wrap around. But it's garter, so super squishy. And if you block garter too much, you lose that squish. So, because I did think about doing the pegging it up on the line, but that will stretch it lots. So that's out. Bit of thread on there. So the blocking mats will have to come out, and a gentle blocking, I think. I love the colours. Looking at the screen now, they're not coming out anything like what they are. I will try and take a photo of this. Is this the back or the front? It's harder to tell because the colours merge. This is the front because you can see the stripes section here. These colours further down blend into each other much more. What was I saying? Oh, I'll try to take a photo. If I can't take a photo of it today to put into the podcast, I will pop it over on Instagram. Let me tell you what I have used. What bag did I have this in? I think I might have put the bag away, so I don't think I've got the labels. I have talked about this a lot, so I'll quickly run through. This first colour, excuse me, it's pale blue with green and purple and sort of pinkish speckles through, is from Mousewitch Yarns, Amanda. The second colour here is a Lucky Dip skein from James Makes Yarn. Ooh. This next colour here is sort of pinks and yellows and oranges with black speckles, is called Acceptable in the 80s and is from Woolly Mama Yarns. And the last colour, which is bright pink with yellow and orange, is called JellyFish and is from Somerset Yarns. So that is a big project off the needles. I did time my I-cord cast off because I thought, oh, the I-cord, the last time I did an I-cord bind off was on my Starflake shawl. And I did, which is a big shawl, but I did a 2-colour bind off, and that took about 5 hours, I think, something like that. Took forever. And I was thinking, oh no, this one's going to take us long. Me and Cara both guessed it would take about 4 hours. It took 3 hours to cast this one off. It's a solid colour. Obviously not 3 hours straight. I don't know if that's obvious or not, but I didn't do it 3 hours straight. I did about an hour, had a cup of tea, half an hour, had my dinner, had a cup of tea, you know, those kind of things. Total of 3 hours. So that is that one. That is my, can you see I might be trying to do a thumbnail. That's my Eyelet burst shawl. Talking of thumbnails, you know how I said last time, oh, I can't get a thumbnail decent to come up. I'm gonna try and do a nice thumbnail, or try and stay still a little bit longer to get one. No, didn't work. I managed to get a decent picture by going back through watching and pausing and taking a screenshot of it. YouTube normally gives you about 3 options of thumbnails that you can choose. Honestly, they were dreadful. I don't think I was showing anything. There was one where I had like my arms waving in the air. Don't know what I was doing. And other ones pulling ridiculous faces. Never mind. So that's that big project complete. And now the weather's turned nice. I'm not going to be able to wear these for a little while, I don't think. Right, sorry, just have a quick drink. Excuse my glass. I'll try and cover up what it says on it. It's, yeah, it is just squash. Might be a pint glass, but it is just squash. We have a lot of these giant pint glasses in the cupboard from when Dominic lived here, and he used to work in a bar and occasionally came home with different glasses. Right, that's it for knitting finished objects. Let's get on to crochet. So another one that I showed you last time. Oh, I didn't get the book. 2 seconds. It's in reaching distance, that's good. See if I can find the pattern. Lovely. Okie doke. This is a little amigurumi project. Whoa. Ta-da! There she is. This is Agatha the Bee. She is from the Pica book number 2, Animal Friends of Pica number 2. I showed you this last time. Whoa. And she was just a body. She looked like a colourful potato, bless her. So she has been finished since I saw you last. She's got these little tufties of hair. She's got her arms and legs, little boots on the back. She's got her little wings and little stinger. So this is her in the book. And here she is in real life. Haha. Oh, I don't think you'll be able to see that. So this is the book she's from. This Animal Friends Pica number 2. And I'd done last time, I showed you Sheldon, who was a little tortoise, that I showed you last time. And then I'd got the bug and was in for Agatha. Now this one was crocheted on a 3mm hook, all in cotton, DK cotton, double knit. The majority of it is Ricorumi DK, apart from this grey, which I didn't have anything that sort of colour in my stash of Ricorumi. This is Drops Cotton Light, something like that. I don't like it. Super splitty, but it's come out fine. It was a little bit of a trial, especially when it comes to sewing up, because when you thread, when you put it onto the needle, it just splits up completely. So yeah, but she's complete. She is living on my mantelpiece over there with Sheldon at the moment. I'm very pleased with her. Just on the subject, really quickly, of sewing up amigurumi, sewing up in general, I have a metal allergy, and it can bring me up in a rash. I usually use, just looking around, metal needles for sewing up. If I show you very quickly, I have these clover needles. I think they're called clover chibi, that have this hook, like curved end, and I find them really, really useful for all sewing up, actually, not just amigurumi, but I do find them really helpful for this because you can get right in, you know, to the body parts and things like that. This one isn't as bad. I've got another one in my Crochet Notions pouch. The metal, I don't know what they're made of, but after some use, I don't think I can find it, they start to tarnish, and whatever the top metal is comes away, or coating, and whatever's underneath is what makes that gives me the allergy. So if I do lots of sewing up, then I end up with a rash. And I just wondered if any of you out there had either a similar issue or knew of any different types of needles I could try. I've tried plastic needles, obviously, this kind of thing, which are fine, I found, for sewing up knitting, you know, even like the end, kitchen stitch with the end of socks is fine, weaving in ends, fine. Amigurumi, no good, too big. It's the eye, really. I struggle to get through the stitches. So it's just, I'm just putting it out there. You might all think, what on earth are you on about? This, we don't, no one has this issue. But yeah, anybody got any ideas? Let me know. I have the same, used to have the same issue with cross stitch. I used to buy gold plated needles fairly cheap, and the gold would just come away after a use, and then I'd end up with this rash again. I now have, which probably aren't here, oh, I'll show you when I show you that later, some gold plated needles from Jane. Oh, I always get them muddled up. Is she Greenhouse or Green Half? One's a knitter, one's a cross stitcher. Anyway, she, from the Cross Stitching Guild, she does a set of gold plated needles that she guarantees the gold will not come off. If they do, she replaces it. But I don't think I can get anything like that knitting wise. Let's move on. Let's, you don't want to know all about that. Anyway, that's that one done. Agatha the Bee, finished. So, right, let's pop that there. My next, it's a finished, they are finished objects, yes, but it is an ongoing project. As you know, if you watched last time, we're on a bit of a Star Wars kick in our house. I have been doing Star Wars socks for Denise Deer's Year of Socks. I'll show you those later. This is one of my many Star Wars bags. This one is from Amelia X Joy. I've had this a little while, actually. This was a present from Dominic, my brother. Star Wars. I have been using this little book, Star Wars Crochet by Lucy Colin. This actually was with, came with a kit. You know, it had wool and things in, but we just had the book from someone. Not sure where it came. Mum sent it up this way. Sebi is super into Star Wars at the moment. It's just quite good because I love Star Wars, so I'm educating him. And we showed him this pattern book and asked if he would be interested, and of course he was. I'm just going to show you, there isn't a page, I don't think, that's got everyone on it. No. I'll show you them when I come to them. So there are 12 different projects in here. So like on the front there, you've got Luke and Leia. Oh, on the back, Chewie and Han. Then there you've got Boba Fett, Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper. and there are other ones in here, obviously. I will show you the ones I've made, and there's still some to come. So I started off with, these have all been made using double knit cottons from my stash, so I'm not sure what most of them are, and they have also been done on a 3mm hook. So the first one, which actually was the trickiest one because just sewing up, there's so many little tiny bits. My first one is Yoda. They make me chuckle because this one's about 3 inches tall. It's tiny little Yoda, which he's got his little coat on. It does come off, but they kind of all a similar sort of construction. You start at the head and work with, and the head is already attached to the body, and then you just add on the little features. So there's Yoda. Then we have a stormtrooper, which was a bit interesting to make. There we go, that's that little one. He is an unusual shape when he's not decorated. I'll just leave it at that. So that is little stormtrooper. Excuse me. The next one is this one. I think is my favourite. Mine don't look quite like the ones in the book. They have, I like to give mine little smiley faces. They need to be happy. Let me just try and put my hand over that bit. So that's their Princess Leia. Very stern almost. Here's mine. She's a happy Princess Leia. I mean, these are for Sebby. So, you know, I love her hair, her buns. So there's little Princess Leia. That's that one. Next is Luke. Let me just, he's been a bit squashed, bless him. There we go, Luke Skywalker with his lightsaber and his happy face. There we go, little Luke. Then, oh, Sebby liked this one. This was a bit fiddly with all the extra bits of colour. This is, what's the best way to hold him? There we go. R2-D2. He's got little, there we go. And finally, Han Solo. This little, with his happy face. There we go. So, we've got a little collection going on so far. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3. There's no way I'm going to be able to hold all these. I don't think. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. My hands don't bend in the right ways. There we go. 6 little Star Wars people so far. Yeah, so that's 6. What did I say? There was 12 in the book. So I had to order some bits in to finish them off. So I have got C-3PO to do, and I had to get some coloured safety eyes and my favourite Wicket Ewok. Him and Chewie are, you brush them at the end to fluff them up. Now, I think the wool, it doesn't actually say, I don't think, what wool they use, but I remember when we had some of the kit bits, it was, I think it was an acrylic. Definitely wasn't cotton. Yeah, this pattern works best if you use acrylic yarn or acrylic with some wool content. So I don't know, I don't think cotton brushes up like that. So I've got to go in search of something that I can fluff up for him. And who else have I got in here? No, done you. Yeah, Chewie. Same thing as the Ewok. needs fluffing up, so I need to go in search of yarn for him. Darth Vader, I've been putting him off a little bit because obviously he's black. Knitting in black is fine, I can do that. Crochet black, I find really difficult, so that's going to have to be a good daylight project. Boba Fett, haven't done him yet. We're actually watching the Book of Boba at the moment. Sebi is watching, so should probably get on with that one. And finally, Jabba the Hutt. And I had to order some coloured eyes for him as well. So I've got those now, so you never know. Next time I see you, there could be the full collection. There is, however, I made the mistake of telling Sebi another one of these books, which is more Star Wars, which has characters from the newer films. And then he also found out that there's a Mandalorian version. So there could be far more of these to come. But, you know, I'm enjoying them. They're little, they are little projects, but they do take a little while. And again, sewing up is quite fiddly. So that is that. Have I got any other finished projects to show you? Yes, I have. So done knitting, we have done crochet, and I have been doing a little bit of cross stitch again. If you've watched previous videos, like quite a way back, sorry, just make myself comfortable. I do enjoy cross stitch. I go through phases. Sorry, just having a little quick drink. Yeah, I go through phases of doing lots, or going off it, blah blah blah. I really fancy doing something. I have got sort of a big-ish project on the go that I do a little bit every now and again. Didn't fancy doing that. Thought I'd have a go at something else. So I follow a cross stitch designer on Instagram called Jess. She lives near me, actually, not too far away. And she's got a little business called the Geeky Stitching Company. She used to sell kits, and I used to have a subscription box to her this few years ago now, before COVID and everything. She's now just she stopped doing the kits, but she still does PDF downloads of patterns, and they're really cute. So I went with this one. I'd seen this on Instagram quite a few times. This is the one I chose. It's a good day to be happy. And I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. There's quite a few variations of this one, like with the little smileys and the same sort of patterns with different phrases on, which I might do. It'd be nice to have a bit of a collection. I've done this one on a pale blue 14 count Aida, and I thought if I did all of them, they'd be quite nice on different coloured, like pastel Aidas, but I haven't got any in my stash at the minute, so might be something that has to wait. Yeah, so this little bit of Aida I had in stash, so I don't know what brand it is, but it is a 14 count. These threads that I've used, again, all from stash. Majority of them are DMCs. I think a couple of them might be Anchor. She does give you a list of all DMC colours, but also says use what you've got in stash if you can't get these ones. And obviously you might want different colour palette altogether, which is the good thing, I think, about just getting a pattern. You can do whatever colours you like. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. It didn't take very long, and because it's fair, you know, simple design. It kept, again, it's one of those things keeps you interested, because you can do one letter and think, oh, I just do one more letter, I'll just do one more letter. Lots of different colours. So yeah, that's that one complete. There we go. So that's not very good grammar, is it? Those are all my finished objects this time. Works in progress. Let's move straight on to those. Again, we have knitting, no more crochet for a minute, and we have another cross stitch. So socks. Nope, that's not the right bag. circle. Just one moment, please. Talk amongst yourselves. Did I not get it out? Excuse me. No, I didn't. Right. Carrying on with the Star Wars theme. Another Star Wars bag. Another Amelia Extra bag. This is the Mandalorian. And this bag is housing, whoops, my May entry for Year of the Sock, which is being run by Denise from Dear Designs. And okay, oh, that's attached. Right, let me show you the yarn. I think I showed, did I show you this last time? Had it come? I can't remember now. I think it did. This is the yarn. And it is from lovely Mandy, Mousewitch Yarns. This is Astral Conflict. So Mandy is dyeing up yarn monthly anyway, but she does a colourway that fits with Denise's prompt. So the prompts this month were Star Wars, Star Trek. So it took me ages when Mandy showed them. She had, oh, what was her Star Trek one called? Astral, oh, I can't, Journey? Astral Journey, I think. And this was Astral Conflict. And she was saying that, and I thought, what? And it took me ages. I thought, oh, of course, it means Star Wars. Come on, wake up. Yeah, so that is this colourway, and it is inspired by the Force Awakens poster. I have seen Mandy's latest podcast, and she's knit up a pair in her Star Trek colourway. I'm not into Star Trek, but those socks are amazing. It micro stripes up beautifully, so that you know, no, it could be a possibility. Anyway, let me show you the socks. This one is almost finished, the first sock, but I didn't think I could get it on the blocker with these needles in because I still haven't done the toe. So this is how the colour knits up. Let me show you just the flat stocking stitch at the back. So that's how the colourway is knitting up, and on the front is this garter panel. This pattern is the Rye Light socks from Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern. I just fancied doing something other than just vanilla, but I didn't want anything too busy that wouldn't show up, because it's such a nice yarn and lots of colours going on that, you know, lace or cabling or anything like that, I didn't think would show up all that well. So I decided to go for this pattern. It's a bit difficult to show you. Hopefully I will have the next one finished by the time I see you next, and then I can put them on the blockers and show you better. But that is the first sock, and these are for myself. And I have started the second sock. So nearly at the heel. That's my second sock, and I've got my red stitch marker for, you know, for the dark side, and blue stitch marker for the light side. Oh dear, I am a grown-up apparently. So yes, that is the second Rye Light. Yeah, ooh, Rye Light sock. I knit my socks on 9-inch circulars. These are bamboo higher hires. That's what I'm knitting those on. And actually the pattern, I'm really just using this, just wanted the stitch count for this part. because I've got my own recipe, but I think having looked at the pattern, they do the same. Slip stitch, heel flap and gusset. I've got 2x2 rib, 15 rounds, and a wedge toe. So that's the first pair of socks. Where's the bag gone? Over here. So they shouldn't take too much longer. These are the ones I tend to take to knit club with me. So actually I cast on, I did the rib at home, and then when I was at knit group this Thursday that's just been, did about that much. I was there for about 2 hours, you know, but with chit chat, coffee, tea cakes. And oh, obviously Ruth was there. Ruth loves to knit. My goodness. That's taken forever to get you mentioned, Ruth. I was going to talk about you later though. So that's that one. Second pair of socks is in my birdie bag from, oh, is that going to focus? From Crafty Creations, lovely Jeanette. In here, I have one finished, well, one almost finished sock, just needs kitchenering up. Let me just sort out yarns and labels. So this pair of socks are being knit for a knit along, sock along that is being run by Jeanette from Crafty Creations, Alex from My Yarny Corner, and Karen from Stitches and Jacks. They are running a Eurovision Song Contest knit along to support Ukraine. Obviously Eurovision's been and gone, but the sock along finishes the last day of the 31st of May. Is that right? I know it's the end of May, but I'm just trying to think if it's 30th or 31st. Yeah, so that is when they are for. The sock along rules were to knit your socks in yellow and blue or knit a pattern by a Ukrainian designer. I have gone for yellow and blue. I will show you the yarns. Oh, there they are. Just put the labels down. So the first yarn that I'm using is this bright blue. Ooh. Not quite showing how it should, as per usual. That sock yarn is Cotton Socks from King Cowl, Cotton Socks 4-ply. I've never seen this yarn before, so it's not actually what I thought it was. The colourway is Azure, and the makeup is 58% cotton, 38% polyamide, and 4% PBT. And I forgot to look up what PBT means. I'll look it up, and when I edit, I'll write it on the screen, because the other yarn is PBT as well. So that's that one. I actually didn't realise it was a cotton sock. I thought it was the same as the other sock that I'm going to show you. The second colour I've got is this yellow, which has got different shades of yellow and white, and the colourway is lemon. And this is King Cowl Footsie 4-ply, which I have seen before but never used. And this one is 93% acrylic, 7% PBT. It obviously is designed for socks, but obviously it's not obvious. If you knit socks, you probably know that you normally use a wool acrylic blend. This is nearly all acrylic, and you wouldn't normally knit socks in just acrylic, but well, it's obviously been treated or spun or whatever they do to it. It's some way to make it a sock yarn. So these are the two colours that I'm using together. And let's show you the sock instead of waffling on about that. So this is a whole sock, but with ends, and let me tuck these top ends in so you can see all those. Needs kitchenering up as well. I have used the blue for the cuff, which again is a 2x2 15 rows, and the heel, which is a slip stitch heel flap and gusset. The yellow yarn, I didn't realise it was going to stripe. I thought it was sort of more of a multi situation, has striped up, and I didn't realise that the dark was going to be quite as dark. I was a bit put off at first by it, but I think it's okay. And again, so it's not just vanilla, tried a little bit of something else. We've got this lace at the top. So it's very simple lace. I have written down the pattern. This is called the Chicky Lace Sock and is a free pattern on Ravelry by, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Sockenran PN. I'll put the link. On the actual pattern, the sock, the lace carried on down the top of the foot was my plan to do that. But when I did all the heel flap, and then when I was picking up the stitches for the heel flap, I put the lace in the wrong place and then carried on, got to do the next row of lace and thought this isn't right. Had to rip it out. Actually, I didn't rip it out. I was at Mum's. I handed it over to Mum and she very kindly ripped it out for me while I repaid her with a cup of tea. And then thought, do you know what? It's going to be easier just to I'm going to be lazy and do a plain foot. But I think that's okay because that bit's going to be in the shoe. I have done them my size, but I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to keep them for myself yet because they are yellow. They can go to the Marie Curie Sock Quest, which I did a couple of pairs for last year. But looking at how much yarn I've got, they don't even look like they've really been started. There's going to be enough for another pair, I think. There's quite a long meterage on this. It's 430 meters for the footsie. Less for the cotton, obviously, 365, but then I've only used that for contrast. So that is the second sock, second pair of socks even. And again, there will be a pair of socks when I see you next. Right, let's put everything back in the bag. There we know where it is and it doesn't get lost. So I think what I will do is I will get that Star Wars sock finished, then I'll cast this one on. Get that one done. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Socks done. This one next. Right. Next project. This is a new cast on in another Star Wars bag. I did get all these last. Do you remember I told you Amelia Extra had a sale on? This is my Grogu bag. I think I've got enough Star Wars bags now. Right, in here is some yarn labels. Need those. Let me get out. Now, there was more to show you, but I'll explain in a minute. This, let me tell you what it's going to be. This is the colour block shawl from, I think is it Justina? Oh, Justina? I think it's Lukowska. Oh, I'll link it all below. Sorry, I don't want to offend anybody by pronouncing their names wrong. So it's the colour block shawl, and I actually got this, she had a little sale on. So I'd seen the pattern before and thought, I'll get it now it's on sale. I'm just trying to get hold of all the yarn that I'm using. So these are the colours that I have got. If I can grab a hold of them all. So I've also got one balled up ready to go, and the one that I'm currently knitting with. These are Lottie Knits. They are Little Bird sock flocks, so they're 5 20-gram skeins. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So I've got 2 of these. One was all the sort of pinky colours, pinks and reds, oranges, yellows, and the other was all the blues and greens and purples. I'm just seeing if they've got, don't think they've got a name. No. However, I got these on a group on Facebook, a yarn de-stash group, very reasonably priced. And I wanted to use them all together in one project. And this colour block shawl can be done in 2 contrasting colours or 10 pause, 10 20-gram skeins. So let me just move this along. So I've started off, oh, wrong side. Started off with this pinky colour, pink and purple. And I've got a very small amount to show you, which is this little tiny bit. Oop. Yeah. So I will probably have already put a picture in to show you what it's going to be. So this is the very beginning, and it, oh dear, it looks like pants. There's no other way of holding it up now and not thinking of it as a pair of pants. Yes, triangular shawl. So like I say, there was more of this to show you. I had finished all of this. However, I don't gauge swatch, especially when it comes to things like shawls and stuff like that. I'm not very good at doing that. But I generally seem to be able to get the project on gauge with whatever is suggested. So that is what I did. Use the needle size suggested and started. Now she does say you can use, instead of doing a gauge swatch, knit your first section, your first colour. If you've got enough yarn, you're on gauge. I didn't have enough yarn, which is unusual because normally, like I say, I'm fairly standard to what they suggest. And the yarn that I'm using, sorry, picking a bit of fluff off there. The yarn that I'm using has exactly the same meterage as is in the pattern. So that got ripped out onto smaller needles and started again. So I am now using, I am using circular needles like I always do. These are Knit Pro Symphony. I've got them on a very small cable at the minute because other than that I had a massive cable and that didn't work because it gets all over the place. And it is a normal cable, you know, one's the standard that come with the interchangeables. When I change over, I will be going over to a mindful one because they're much nicer. Yeah, so that's as far as we've got. I've got some new little stoppers, little roller skates. So that's as far as I've got. These are the colours that I'm going to continue to use. Obviously this one's next because that's what's balled up. And I will be doing a rainbow, and in between each section you split it up with a solid, and I have got some of this left over from my Starflake. This is the Drops Nord, which is an alpaca blend, 45% alpaca, 30% polyamide, 25% wool. It's not quite as solid, got this sort of mild effect to it, heathered look. It's a 4-ply, so it works with that. And I've got, don't think I need a lot, I think I need 100 grams. These are 50-gram balls. I've definitely got 2 left. I think I might even have more. I bought quite a bit for when I was doing the Starflake. And I like the contrast between this very dark and then lots of brights. So that is the plan for the colour block shawl. I'm looking for my bag, here it is. Let me just pop everything away. So yeah, there should have been more to show you. There will be more next time. That one, and the actual knitting. Okay. So that is it for knitting works in progress. I've got one other work in progress to show you, which is a cross stitch. Like I said, I go through phases of cross stitching, and I enjoyed that pattern so much. When I was looking through Jess's other patterns, I chose another. This is all stored in my cross stitch pouch. This is from a seller on Etsy called Turtle Bay. Ooh. So I'm afraid it's not very tidy. I haven't, when I've done other projects, I put the threads on little cards and hang them on bits and bobs, but because I was so desperate to start, I just got all my threads loose, I'm afraid. So I will put a picture in now to show you what I'm aiming for. And this is how far I have got. So I'm using a 14 count Aida again. This is a DMC Aida. If you can see, I think it's called Oatmeal. I'll put my hand behind it. It's more of a natural look rather than a bright white or a colour. Really like this Aida. I've used it before. Just makes things not quite so harsh, so it's bright. Obviously a lot of projects look great on white. I didn't have a piece big enough in white for this. Suggested a 6-inch piece, and I think everything I had was about 5 or smaller. This has all little flecks throughout it, and it looks more like a linen. I have cross-stitched on linen before, and it wasn't an enjoyable experience as much as I like using Aida. I learnt on Aida, it's easy to use. So you get the look of linen, but with the evenness of the Aida. Up here, oh, I'm pointing from the back, you won't be able to see that. Up here, I've got my needle minder. It's a magnetic needle minder polymer clay button from Pedro's Plaques. And this is the needle I was talking about earlier, gold-plated needle, specifically for cross stitch. Yeah, and I've got a selection of threads. They are mostly DMCs and with some Anchor in there as well. Again, all the colours were listed in the pattern. I chose the nearest I had to those colours. Actually, as well, I looked at the instructions more closely. Jess suggests using 3 strands for her cross stitch. Normally I always use 2, and that's what I did for this one. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference on camera. So the stitches are a lot, I went with 3 strands for this project, and you can see that the stitches are a lot denser. Obviously it's going to use more floss, not a problem because I've got plenty, I think. She does, they're very good. She does a little table at the bottom, so colours, how many strands to use, how much of a skein of a floss, or, you know, a whole one of these, whole skein that you're going to need, how much of it you're going to need. So that is that one. And again, I'm pretty sure that will be finished by the time I see you next. And who knows, another one may have been started. So that's all gone in there. Right. Finished objects, works in progress. a planned cast on. I have been very good and not cast this on because, well, mainly because I'm not 100% sure how I'm going about it yet. Anyway, let me tell you what it is. I have got the pattern for the Toaster tee. I shall put a picture in. This pattern is by Crochet Bear. She's got a podcast on YouTube. Her name is Rebecca. I'm sorry, Rebecca. It's either Clo or Clow, CLOW, but most people probably know her by the Crochet Bear. Toaster tee is a tee and is knit in double knit cotton. So my mum's going to knit it as well. So we were very much talking about what we were going to make, how we were going to make it, blah, blah, blah. We were online, as you do, looking in all the different places. And I had an email from Lovecrafts saying they had 35% off specific yarns, which happened to be cottons. Well, that cotton were involved. It was on Paintbox and something else. So over I went, because I don't know if I've said it was a double knit, definitely, but it's a double knit, yeah, in cotton. So I chose these 4 colours, which are very reminiscent actually. They're not normally my sort of thing, although yeah. If I'm going to knit a top, it's normally in blue or purple. Quite similar to these sort of colours actually, isn't it? Maybe that was playing on my mind. Anyway, these are 100 gram balls of Paintbox Cotton Mix DK. They are a 50-50 cotton acrylic. So I have worked out that's how much I need, but obviously I'm going to stripe them. There's lots of different variations of the pattern and I fancy doing stripes, but the pattern itself is not for a striped jumper. Does that make sense? The pattern is for a solid colour. So I've got to work out striping and I'm not very good at doing that. But I have been through the pattern and I have worked out roughly how many rows there are going to be. The majority of the instructions is for rows. When you get to the plain bit of knitting, it says knit for however many inches. Going on the gauge, I've tried to work out how many rows that would be. So I'm going with 8 rows per stripe. That's the plan. Mum's away at the moment, so I can't get any more detailed advice from her. When she's home, I will be questioning her a lot. The other thing I need to decide is cut or carry the yarn. 8 rows, I think, might be too far to carry. I might have carried it if it was only 2 colours. This was the other thing I was thinking. If I'm doing 4 colours, I'd have to carry all the yarns, wouldn't I? Which is going to be bulky. So the likelihood is it's going to be cut. Any idea? People with more knowledge than me, which is the majority of people, leave me a comment and tell me how you'd go about it. I think that would be the way to do it, would be to cut. And I'm not bothered with sewing ends in. That's not a problem. The other thing that I hadn't even thought about until Mum mentioned it was jogless striping. I don't know where the beginning of the round is on the top yet. If it was, you know, on a side or something, it's a little bit easier to get away with, isn't it? Any tips on jogless striping? Down below. Thank you very much. So that's that one. This will be getting cast on as soon as I have worked out exactly what must be done. Right. Okay, one last thing to talk to you about. If you were here last time, it was last time I talked about it. I had been doing some sewing and making some bags and was talking about making lots of bags and selling them. Now, I have spoken to Ruth and some other people at my knit group and did a little bit of market research type of thing, took some bags in, got some opinions, blah, blah, blah. Ruth has far more faith in me than I have in myself, and she says, yes, do it. So I'm going to do it. I gave her a bag. If you watch Ruth Loves to Knit podcast, if you've seen her latest episode, you'll have seen her bag. She very kindly demonstrated, displayed, really nice, really kind words. Thank you, Ruth. So you'll have seen those, and I have made some more of those and some larger project bags. So I will just show you them now briefly. What I will show you now is one of each size that are completely finished, because the rest are all sewn but waiting for their drawstrings. There are 2 different sizes at the moment. There may be more. I'm going to show you them these 2 this time. Next podcast, I'll show you all of them, because I'll have had time to open up the Ko-fi shop, take photos, all the bits that go with putting them into a shop. So let me show you first. Oh, hold on. I was going to make sure I had some measurements for you. But I don't know if I've fit them. Well, I'll give you a rough idea of the size. I'm not very organised. Oh, actually, I've got a tape measure, probably. Not in there. Where do these things go? Always have a tape measure in there. And there's not one in either of these my notion pouches that are here. If they're those clicky retractable ones, Sebby likes to get hold of them sometimes. No, right, let me show you. This is the small bag. So this is one of them. Let me just move back a little bit. This is a drawstring bag, but has handles also, so you can tuck this part down and carry it with handles, or upright, carry it with your drawstrings. This bag is lined but not doesn't have any wadding in, so this bag is completely lined with yellow, has a boxed bottom, Ruth did demonstrate hers. She is keeping her sock knitting in hers, so she has a whole ball of yarn, the socks that she's knitting on her needles, a pattern, and she still had room in there. So they are roughly, or approximately, 8 inches wide and 9¼ inches high. I will take proper measurements and everything. So ideal size, obviously, for sock knitting. We think you could probably get a 1 skein shawl in there. Amigurumi projects, definitely. So that is the small size. And this is the style that I'm currently doing. If things go well, I will probably be doing different types as well. So that's the first bag. Okay. The large bag is same design, but the lower half is padded out, so it's got a little loose thread there. It's got wadding in there, so if you've got bigger needles and things, then nothing's going to poke through. Let me just put the smaller one on top, so you've got an idea of size difference. So I think I worked out that the bigger one is, let me just have a quick, try and measure a little bit of extra, 2 seconds. So that is an extra 4 inches wide, so a little bit of maths. So it's about 13 inches wide and 13 inches wide. No, scrap that. Okay, 12 inches wide, 13 inches high, approximately. Like I say, I will get back to you on that. Right, let me show you a bit better. So same style, like I say, but with the wadding in the bottom. So you've got your drawstring closure. Also got your handles. So that part can be tucked in and carried by the handles. Again, if it's a bigger project in there, you've got that bigger room, bigger space. The bags are lined, so this one has the same fabric as the handles. I haven't put anything in here yet to see what will fit. However, it is slightly bigger than some of the project bags that I used for my Eyelet burst shawl. So I had plenty of yarn in there, great big project. Definitely a bigger, obviously a bigger project bag, but definitely will get, you know, shawls in, tees. I don't know, you know, if you're a smaller person and you don't use as much yarn as maybe I do, you'd get a jumper in there. I don't know about doing bags any bigger, maybe by request, I don't know, but that is what is going to be going in the shop to start with. Small bags, large bags. I'm thinking of trying to do something in between. Any comments, suggestions, anything, as long as they're not too unkind, about my bags are going to be really appreciated. I want to know, obviously, if anybody's interested in buying these bags, sizing, if you think the sizes are okay, like say, whether you think there should be something in between, something bigger, something, I don't think smaller. No, I think that's probably as small as I want to go for now. Or any suggestions on different types of bags or anything you'd like to see. What you think about my fabric choices. Now, fabric choices are going to be, there's lots of different things I've got, but if you've watched my channel, you know I like bright colours, I like pattern. That's the type of thing I'm going to be seeing, going to be using, because obviously that's the sort of stuff I've bought. So hopefully that's the kind of thing you guys will like as well. Okay, I don't like doing that bit because I've got to get better. I've got to get better at promoting what I am doing. I'm sure Ruth is saying the same thing. Okay, so that's that. Like I say, I will keep you completely updated on all of that. I will, when I've done photos and things, put them over on Instagram. I will show them on here as well. Like I say, I've got a Ko-fi account currently. If anybody wants to buy me a coffee, that would be very much appreciated. Any income from there will be going towards buying equipment and fabrics and things for the bags. At the moment, I am planning or looking into yarn dyeing as well. So any income will go towards that kind of thing. Okay, and it will become a shop at some point. I don't know if you can follow me without it being a shop. I haven't looked into it as much as I should have yet, but I will keep you all updated. And I think that's it. I think you've had enough of me waffling on. So yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching. Thank you to those new subscribers. The numbers are going up. I'm over 700 now, which, you know, is a big number. Not as big as, you know, some other people. Never mind. But yeah, I very much appreciate it. It's madness that many people want to sit and watch me. Thank you so much. Anything else to tell you? Don't think so. Any comments, leave them down below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. The YouTube app that I use for the behind the scenes bit isn't that great at telling me when someone's left something there, so I won't always reply immediately, but I will get back to you. Okay, so that is everything. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy the weather if you're having this lovely weather that we are. Just enjoy yourself. Get your crafting out, enjoy yourself. I will see you all again fairly soon. Don't know when, but it won't be long. Okay, thanks everybody. See you again soon. Bye.